What's up, everybody? I hope you're doing good. It's a beautiful evening. It's always a great pleasure to speak to you guys. Well, in fact, I was actually sleeping. I was falling asleep. Then I remember I need to speak to you. I just remember I had a chat with a lady a while back, and she said to me, I watch you twice a day. And I felt I couldn't let you down. I had to wake up and make this video for you. Thank you very much for stopping by. You are very much appreciated. Thank you so much for watching us from South Africa, Zimbabwe. Thank you so much, Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania. Thank you very much, Sudan, Somalia, Ethiopia, Rwanda. I see you. Thank you very much, Nigeria, Ghana, Liberia, Sierra Leone, Namibia, Malawi. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching us from Lesotho, Botswana. Thank you very much for watching us from all over the world. Jamaica. Never forget Jamaica. Wagwan, fellas, Jamaica. Thank you very much. South America, Brazil. I see you. UK, United States of America, Canada. So many people watching us now. Thank you very much. It's your first time. I know we're going to like each other. We already know that. Please press the button, subscribe, so we can make our group bigger. And before we start, we're all going to do this. Please do this. It's done. Thank you. To make our voice bigger. Okay, so we are talking about Niger again. Here's Niger, a map of Niger, so some of our brothers can understand. I know many of you don't know. Yeah, Niger is a beautiful country, but enclaved, very hot place, but warm-hearted people. Beautiful place. So basically today, people from Niger held a huge protest to call the French force to leave the country. Yes. People from Niger have had enough. Okay. For those of you who don't understand, for context, please watch some of these videos so you can understand very quickly. I'm going to give you context very quickly, okay? A huge protest in Niger called for French troops to leave the country. Thousands of protesters rallied in Niger capital Niamey to call for the withdrawal of the French troops, as demanded by the junta that seized power in June. So the junta asked the French military to leave the country, but they have not done so. So today, citizens have marched throughout Niamey. They've camped in front of the French paramilitary camp to ask them to leave. Watch.
They took the security forces by surprise. The protest, scheduled for late afternoon, began 5 hours early. At the entrance to the military base, demonstrators tried to force their way. Reinforcements were quickly called in, and a confrontation with French troops averted. But the demonstrators say they won't leave.
All military bases want to fight to remove in our country all military bases in our country. We don't want it because more than 13 years all terrorism is here. They don't take care to fight terrorism.
Despite a heavy downpour, thousands continue to arrive, perched on top of homes, others on street lampposts, or anywhere they can, blaring their trumpets. Relations between Niger and its former colonial power have deteriorated since the coup.
If this crisis isn't handled diplomatically, there's the risk of clashes between the two sides. For the junta, it's important to make the French ambassador leave, otherwise it'll look weak in the eyes of its supporters. The government in France is looking to provoke the junta by questioning its legitimacy.
Having been forced out of former colonies Mali and Burkina Faso, analysts say France may not leave Niger without a scene. And the junta here will do all it can to ensure the French leave, at least to save face with supporters who stood by it.
So they said the demonstrators gathered near a base housing French soldiers on Saturday after a call by several civic organizations hostile to the French military presence in a West African country. There is 1,500 French military troops in Niger, and people from Niger don't want them anymore, but they don't want to leave. I mean, this is supposed to be a poor country as per the French, but they don't want to leave. They asked them to leave. They said no, they don't want to leave. They held banners proclaiming French army must leave our country. I mean, how hard is it to understand? They don't want you anymore. Leave. The march was boosted by a fresh arrival in the afternoon, and a dense crowd formed at the roundabout near the French military base in Niamey outskirts. So for context, fellas, okay, it's very simple. This is Niger. Niger, for those of you who don't know, is a beautiful country rich in uranium. Uranium is necessary for the production of energy, electricity. France used to colonize Niger many, many years ago, but they kept ties after colonization. In fact, it was just neocolonization, meaning a new style of colonizing a country without necessarily calling it colonization. In other words, in order for you to be president in Niger, you need to obey by the rules of the French. So you need to be president, but you need to make sure you send stuff to France, send uranium to France, allowing France to produce electricity for its people. But in the meantime, people of Niger don't have electricity. No electricity in hospital, no electricity in work. People are living in poverty and poor condition. Now, people of Niger have had enough of this. They say enough is enough. We cannot have presidents who do not look after the people. The president is seemingly looking after the interests of the French and Western companies. We don't want this president anymore. The president's name was Mohamed Bazoum. They kicked him off power. Okay? So, his own guard, special force, supposed to be guarding him, toppled him. And the chief of guard became president at this very moment. They've kept him under house arrest. They did not arm him. Why? Because he has not signed a paper saying, I am not president anymore. He has to sign a paper to say, I am not president. He refused to do that. Why did he refuse to do that? Because he was in communication with many other people, many external forces. He has communicated with the French president every single day.
I speak to President Bazoum every day. We support him and we don't recognize the coup leaders. We aren't listening to their demands because they have no legitimacy to make them.
Because the people in power, the military force, refused to take away its communication. He was communicating with the French president, and obviously when you communicate with the French president, they give you advice. Do not say you're not president anymore. Do not sign the paper. That's why he said, I'm not signing the paper. Knowing also that it's not going to be by the military in place, he refused to sign the paper. But in the meantime, French has said for many years, many of their soldiers living in Niger, yes, many of French people soldiers camp in Niger. Why? Because supposedly there are terrorists in the country. The terrorists, we all know, terrorism never used to exist in the past. Terrorism started in that area of Africa when France decided alongside America to go and bomb Libya and destroy Muammar Gaddafi. After destroying Muammar Gaddafi, who did absolutely nothing, that's when terrorism started in that area. You have a country named Niger that is faced with terrorism. What does Niger do? Niger asks for help. Somebody help me, please. The French say, you know what? We can help you. We can send soldiers to fight the terrorists. Now, since French people sent the soldiers in Niger to supposedly fight terrorists, the terrorism has never ended. Never. Terrorism continues. But in the meantime, let's face it, if you finish terrorist problem, it means the French people have to leave the country, right? So if the French people leave the country, it means they have no more access to uranium. They need uranium for electricity in France. So the terrorism has to continue so the French people can stay there as long as possible. You get it? Now, people from Niger don't want that anymore. They want to run their country. They want to profit from their goods. They want to manage themselves. They don't want anything to do with the French. French are just outraged. They're unhappy, but they don't want to leave. So a few days ago, the new government of Niger asked the French ambassador to come in a meeting and have a discussion. He completely ignored authority. He refused to go. They said to him, we're calling you, you are not responding. He refused to respond. They said, okay, we're giving you 48 hours to leave the country. You have to leave the country. He said no. The people in France said they have no authority to ask you to leave the country. They are not the legitimate government. So this is somebody else's house. You are saying that we do not have authority to throw you out of the house because they are not their father. Now, when you do that to a group of people that are claiming freedom in the country, what message are you saying? They feel like you are the enemy. The French people said they do not recognize them as a government. They recognize the ex-president as the president. And they're supporting ECOWAS, which is a group of 15 countries in West Africa, to come and bomb Niger, fight them, and reinstate the ex-president Mohamed Bazoum. Now, after asking the ambassador of France to come in a meeting, he refused. They asked him to leave the country. He refused because he said, you have no authority to throw me out. What's left? They say, okay, we're going to cut off supply of electricity in the embassy because we cannot go into the embassy and attack you. It's going to be a violation of international law. We're going to cut electricity from the embassy because electricity is produced in our country. It does not belong to you. They cut off electricity. They cut off water supply. And they urge all people of Niger not to give any sort of food to the French people, not to supply them with anything, trying to force them out of the country. After the French did not react to that, the government suspended the immunity of the ambassador. For those of you who don't know, every ambassador in every country benefit from immunity. You cannot take him to court. The whole diplomatic body cannot be taken to court for whatever reason. Whether it's a car accident or whatever the situation is, he cannot go to court. But the government has the right to say, we're suspending your immunity. They've just done that. And they've asked the police to go and evict them from the embassy. The police has not evicted the French people from the embassy, but they have camped outside the embassy because people are tired, in order to show to the world that we, the people of Niger, want this new government. We are tired of Bazoum and we are tired of your implication in our country. They've gone all the way to the French military base that house 1,500 troops to ask them to leave. This is one country coming together for one cause, asking the French people to leave the country. As you can see, there is a French politician in the name of Jean-Luc Mélenchon. He made a comment saying, people of Niger don't want you anymore. Why don't you just leave? Leave other people's country. You can't force yourself. They don't want you anymore. Go. Now, the reason why the French people cannot go is because they're dependent of that uranium for their electricity. They need African countries to make money. They need African countries or else they're going to be a very poor country, unfortunately. Like one president of France, Jacques Chirac, said it before. The majority of money we gain in France comes from Africa. Without Africa, we are nothing. Let me know how you feel about these fellas. You know, they make us believe we are poor, we nobody, we need them, we have to cross on the other side, they need to help us. But in reality, are we real nobodies? Do we really need help? That's a big question. So what do you think of the people of Niger standing in front of a military base with banners saying, leave our country? How else can they express themselves so the French people can hear them? Drop your comments. God bless.